Good morning. It's still cold, isn't it? Now, I've had lots of you asking about where to store your seeds once you get them. And I thought it might help if I actually explained what a seed is and what's actually in there. And that will help you understand why you need to store them carefully. Right, we're going to use a bean seed. They always use bean seeds when explaining plant biology because they're bigger. So what you can see to start with is the outside, which is the seed coat. The fancy pants name for it is tester. Now the seed coat can often be quite tough, and sometimes, like with sweet peas, we soak it in water to soften the seed coat because we need the water to get past the seed coat to initiate germination. Incredibly, the seed leaves and the roots and the shoots are already tucked up inside that seed coat, which is why we need to be so careful with it. I've got a diagram so I can show you. So here is the cross section of our little bean seed, and can you see these big sections here? They are the seed leaves. Here, this is the primary bud of the plant, and it's called a plumule. The bottom part, that is going to create the first root, and it's called a radicle. I always think it is much easier to understand if you can see a real seed germinating. So I have got one that I have germinated for you. We've got the germination of a sweet pea. So you can see that the seed coat starts to crack and it sticks a leg out. There we go, checking to see if it's safe to come out. Root comes down, shoot starts to come up. You can see the shoot's nice and green and stocky because it's got plenty of light. And then once it's out of its seed, here we go. So this one is further progressed, all in the name of science. I'm going to have to be very careful getting him back in his pot. I might actually soak him in some water first before I pop him back to rehydrate him. But you can see we've got a lovely root system here developing. So you've got the main roots that came down, and then they're getting little side roots coming off. And then the same thing's happening above the ground. So this part here is white because it was in the dark. And this part here is green because it's in the light. And you can see that we're starting to get a leaf canopy. And can you notice that they're not too leggy because they've had plenty of light. So you want them short and stocky rather than long and whippy, if possible. It's like magic, isn't it? So knowing all that, knowing that that's already there inside even the tiniest seed, we need to be careful with our storing. So it stands to reason that you don't want to put them in a greenhouse or a shed where the temperatures soar 1 minute and freeze the next, because you've got that seed embryo in there just waiting to wake up. You'll also want to keep your seeds dry because otherwise the water might trigger germination and they might wake up before you're ready to sow them. So you want somewhere that's got a really steady temperature. Keep them away from the central heating because that can also destroy the seeds. Somewhere cool and dry with a steady temperature. An unheated room or bedroom is ideal. Failing that, maybe a cupboard, because once you shut the cupboard door, you quite often find that you shut the central heating out and it's actually quite cool in there. One word of warning: for husband has binned the box, thinking that there was nothing in there because they're just ranunculus corms or just a couple of packets of seeds. Put in a downstairs bathroom where it's nice and cool. So take them out of their outer packaging so that we don't have any accidents. I know you've all got the shock on your face. I've had to do a sprint to the post office on a Mercy dash with whatever spares that I had left in my cupboard. So watch out for that. And finally, hopefully that makes a lot more sense why I'm such a fusspot about making sure that we have the freshest seeds and corms for our grow-alongs. I want you to have the best experience, and they're a living thing. So you don't want something that's been sitting on a shelf for years.